6 p.m. Pakistan Standard Time. Assalamu alaikum. This is Radio Pakistan. The news read by Sumera Kamal. The headlines first. Prime Minister has called upon the international community to join hands in tapping the full potential of the least developed countries, enabling them to make progress. The Economic Coordination Committee of the Cabinet has approved the Hajj policy for 2023. Pakistan and China have agreed to accelerate bilateral cooperation in diverse fields, especially in trade and investment. 9 personnel of Balochistan Constabulary have been martyred in a suicide bomb blast near Sibbi. All-party Hurriyat Conference says the Modi-led regime cannot change the ground realities in Indian illegally occupied Jammu and Kashmir by implementing its Hindutva agenda. The 22nd match of the Pakistan Super League will be played between Karachi Kings and Quetta Gladiators at Rawalpindi today. And now the news in details. Prime Minister Mohammad Shehbaz Sharif has called upon the international community to join hands in tapping the full potential of the least developed countries, helping them make progress on the road to prosperity. Addressing the 5th United Nations Conference on the Least Developed Countries in Doha today, he said partnerships of LDCs with developed nations as well as private sector is significant for global prosperity. The Prime Minister said Pakistan is committed to implementing Doha Programme of Action, considering it as an opportunity to accelerate sustainable prosperity in the least developed countries. He further said the LDCs need major investments in health, education and social protection systems, and vast resources are required to fully implement Agenda 2030 and the Sustainable Development Goals. The Prime Minister highlighted that many of the LDCs are already in or at risk of debt distress. Shehbaz Sharif called for reforming unequal financial architecture to address the special needs of LDCs. He proposed a system of international technology combined with SDGs to provide an easy access to LDCs to develop and bridge their digital divide in order to help them contribute to knowledge-based economy. The Prime Minister lauded the Doha Programme of Action 2031, particularly its concrete measures including the online universities, food stock system and investment support centre. He assured that Pakistan would actively support the implementation of the Doha Programme of Action within the framework of South-centric cooperation. The Prime Minister also called for addressing vaccine inequity through advocating and its timely access for least developed countries. Shehbaz Sharif thanked Amir of Qatar Sheikh Tamim bin Hamd Al Thani for hosting the 5th United Nations Conference on the Least Developed Countries. Prime Minister Mohammad Shehbaz Sharif has reached Pakistan after completing his 2-day official visit to Qatar. President Dr. Arif Alvi has urged all stakeholders to increase the speed of decision-making to get desired results in every field. He said this while interacting with the faculty and scholars of the private university at Governor House, Lahore today. He said global laws are consistently being undermined by the international community and there is one-sided implementation of these laws. The Economic Coordination Committee of the Cabinet has approved the Hajj policy for 2023. The ECC gave its approval in its meeting held in Islamabad today with Finance Minister Ishaq Dar in the chair. Earlier, Ishaq Dar assured Minister for Religious Affairs and Interfaith Harmony, Mufti Abdul Shakur, to provide maximum facilitation to Hujjaj in order to make Hujjaj and Hajj event blessed and peaceful. Pakistan and China have agreed to accelerate bilateral cooperation in diverse fields, especially in trade and investment. The agreement was made in talks held in Rouen City between representatives from Zhejiang, Rouen Municipal Government and the Consulate General of Pakistan in Shanghai. Both sides conducted in-depth discussions on the trade and investment cooperation in key industries. Consul General Hussain Haider pointed out that Pakistan's overall policy on foreign investment is relaxed and foreign investors are free to invest in the country. The Sessions Court in Islamabad today rejected a petition filed by PTI Chief Imran Khan for cancellation of non-bailable arrest warrants in Tosha Khana case and upheld the court's decision. Earlier, additional Sessions Judge Zafar Iqbal had reserved the judgment. This is Radio Pakistan. At least 9 personnel of Balochistan Constabulary were martyred and 7 others injured in a suicide bomb blast at Kumbri Bridge near Sibbi today. According to Levy's sources, the injured have been shifted to civil and CMH hospitals in Sibbi for the treatment. All provincial governments are set to formally kick off the wheat procurement campaign for crop season 2022-23. Food Security Commissioner in the Ministry of National Food Security and Research, Imtiaz Ali Gopang, told APP that the procurement drive would facilitate growers across the crop-producing areas in the country to sell their produce at official fixed rates of 3,900 rupees per 40 kg. He said the Sindh government has decided to start the procurement during the current week, whereas the Punjab intends to start it from 15th of this month. Food Security Commissioner said Sindh is to procure about 1.4 million tons of wheat during the current procurement drive, while Punjab would acquire 3.5 million tons. He said Balochistan and Khyber Pakhtunkhwa would procure 100,000 tons of grains respectively. President Dr. Arif Alvi and Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif have expressed their resolve to free the country from the menace of terrorism. In their separate statements, they strongly condemned the suicide attack on the personnel of the Balochistan Constabulary in Sibbi. President Alvi said terrorists would not be successful in carrying out their nefarious agenda. The Prime Minister said terrorism in Balochistan is part of the nefarious designs to create instability in the country. They prayed to Allah Almighty to grant elevated ranks to the souls of martyrs in heavens and to grant patience to their families. In Indian illegally occupied Jammu and Kashmir, the All-Party Hurriyat Conference has demanded a stern action against Rashtriya Rifles Sector's former commander Brigadier Ajay Kotak and other officers and soldiers involved in the killing of innocent Kashmiri youth in staged encounters. All-Party Hurriyat Conference leaders including Syed Bashir Andrabi, Ghulam Muhammad Khan Sopori and Khadim Hussain, while reacting to the award of life imprisonment to the Indian Army's Captain Bhupendra Singh for killing 3 labourers in a fake encounter in Shopian on 18 July 2020, said Brigadier Ajay was equally responsible for the gruesome massacre. Senior All-Party Hurriyat Conference leader Naeem Ahmad Khan, in a message from India's Tihar jail, made it clear to the Modi-led Indian regime that it cannot change the ground realities in Kashmir by implementing its Hindutva agenda, and sooner or later it will have to accede to the UN-sponsored settlement of the Kashmir dispute. A 10-member Kashmiri delegation hailing from both sides of line of control will attend the 52nd session of the United Nations Human Rights Council being held in Geneva. The Kashmiri delegation is also scheduled to attend a host of important meetings with the UNHRC High Commissioner, Special Rapporteurs, diplomats and representatives of the international NGOs. The main objective of the visit is to bring to focus the ongoing human rights violations in Indian illegally occupied Jammu and Kashmir, mass destruction of properties, and the plight of Kashmiri prisoners. The United States has deployed B-52 bombers for a joint drill with South Korea in a show of force against North Korea's nuclear and missile threats. South Korea's defense ministry in a statement said today that B-52 bombers are capable of carrying nuclear weapons. The 22nd match of the Pakistan Super League will be played between Karachi Kings at Quetta Gladiators at Rawalpindi today. The match will start at 7 p.m. Pakistan Standard Time. And finally, the weather. Mainly dry weather is likely to prevail in most parts of the country during the next 12 hours. However, light rain is expected at isolated places in South Punjab and Kashmir. Radio Pakistan in its national hookup soon after Khabarnama will broadcast an obituary program on the sad demise of renowned radio, TV, drama artist and film actor Muhammad Qavi Khan. To end the news, here are some of the headlines once again. Prime Minister has called upon the international community to join hands in tapping the full potential of the least developed countries, enabling them to make progress. The Economic Coordination Committee of the Cabinet has approved the Hajj policy for 2023. Pakistan and China have agreed to accelerate bilateral cooperation in diverse fields, especially in trade and investment. And that is the end of the news. For more news and analyses, log on to our website radio.gov.pk and also watch live streaming of our bulletins on the link facebook.com/radio Pakistan News Official.